Call this meeting to order. For members of the public attending tonight's meeting, here are some important reminders. First, concerning the public comment portion of our agenda, please remember that the time limit of a single presentation shall not exceed 3 minutes, and no recognized speaker may surrender or transfer his or her allocated time to another person, and the subject matter of any presentation must be limited to issues related to education or the business of the board. Secondly, concerning any and every portion of tonight's meeting, please be advised that the board will not allow threats or loud and disruptive comments or noise, such as jeers, shouts, or verbal outbursts from the floor. In accordance with Tennessee Code annotated 39-17-306, any person who intentionally acts to prevent, obstruct, or interfere with this meeting by physical action or verbal utterance shall be warned to discontinue such actions. After being so warned, law enforcement may remove any person who refuses to cease his or her acts of preventing, obstructing, or interfering with this meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. This time we'll move on to our public conversation comment section. First speaker, Annabelle Jean Lee Spain. Is Annabelle here? Going once. Okay, moving on. Amanda Frost.
My name is Amanda Frost, and tonight I have a few questions, not just for this board, but every candidate seeking public office for this board and throughout our community. Who exactly is public in public education? Is it only the families who voted for you, who attend the same church as you, who were born here, who look like you, love like you, speak like you, or believe like you? Or is it every child who walks through the doors of our schools? Because when each of you ran for office, you weren't elected to represent only the people who agreed with you. You were elected to represent every family in this county. That responsibility didn't come with an asterisk. It didn't say except for the gay kid, except for the immigrant kid, except for the black kid, except for the trans kid, except for the child whose parents didn't vote for you. This includes all of my LGBTQ plus neighbors, especially the T, because they have become one of the easiest targets for political gain, and too many people seem eager to leave them out. My black and brown neighbors, my immigrant neighbors, my disabled neighbors, my Christian neighbors, my Muslim neighbors, my atheist neighbors, even the people who never voted for you, the people who didn't look like you, don't look like you, worship like you, speak like you, believe like you, and even the ones that are raised to hate us because of the way they think. Representation is not conditional. It's not earned by agreeing with you. It comes with office. One of the hardest parts of leadership is representing people whose lives you may never fully understand, but that is what public service requires. Leadership is measured by how you treat the people who have the least political power. The child who wonders if they will be accepted because they're gay, the transgender child who wonders whether the adults elected to oversee their schools see them as worthy of dignity. The student who hears people debate whether they belong because their family immigrated here. The Black student who wonders if their experiences will be acknowledged. The child with disability who simply wants the same opportunity to learn as everyone else. Those children are not asking you to agree with every aspect of their lives. They're asking you for something much simpler, to know that the adults elected believe that they belong here. Your silence is loud, your votes speak, the policies you support speak. Sometimes the things you choose to say speak the loudest. The public deserves more than statements that say, I won't stand for this, or I stand for all kids, because those are easy words. So show us. Walk the walk, don't just talk the talk, because leadership isn't measured by press releases, it's by all of your actions. Whether you intended it or not, every action tells our students who matter and who doesn't in going forward. History has never judged a society by how well it treated the people that were in power. It remembers by those of the least. And one final thought. The teacher wasn't Black, he wasn't brown, he wasn't an immigrant, he wasn't a drag queen, he wasn't transgender that we know of. So maybe let's stop putting all of this together.
Okay. Thank you. Next person, Thomas West. Again, Thomas West. Okay, moving on. Xavier Lugo.
In loco parentis is a Latin legal doctrine meaning in the place of a parent. On March 27th of 2026, CMCSS assumed that responsibility the moment those kids stepped into school and onto that bus. With that responsibility comes a legal and moral obligation to protect them, support them, and act when harm occurs. CMCSS failed each one of those 24 children involved in that horrific fatal accident. You failed their parents, and you failed this community. The ongoing lack of accountability and leadership should concern every taxpayer and every parent in Clarksville. On June 13th, I formally urged CMCSS to take immediate action to cover the medical bills and ongoing care these children require because of the district's negligence. I proposed transferring $2 million from the general fund into a dedicated relief fund for all the affected children. And I want to be clear, I am advocating for every child harmed in this accident, not only those with the visible injuries and not only those whose stories have been publicly highlighted. As has been said, the scars you cannot see are often the hardest to recover from. Yet here we are, 116 days later, and CMCSS leadership has done nothing. School starts soon, and these families are still carrying the financial and emotional burden alone. We are done being lied to, being given false claim numbers. This is not a game. These are our lives. I urge Clarksville taxpayers and parents to demand that this board finally do what is right for those 24 children. And I urge every parent to think carefully about the trust you place in a system that's shown through its inaction that your child's safety and best interest is not its priority. If serving on this board is too difficult, if speaking with parents and students is too difficult, if holding yourselves accountable is too difficult, if doing what is right for children in your care is too difficult, then step aside. Let someone with the courage, integrity, and commitment to lead this community take your place. Leadership is not about titles or stipends. It's about the responsibility, and responsibility is something this board has refused to shoulder for 116 days. The time for excuses has passed. It is time to act. Thank you.
All right, Elia Marie Johnson. No, Elia. Okay. Zalani Love Lugo.
Hi, my name is Selene, and I'm one of the kids who survived the March 27th bus crash. I'm 14 years old, and I'm standing here because people need to know why we deserve a new school board, one that actually sees us, hears us, and gives a damn about what happened. Before I start, I just want to give a shout out to Chris Lanier for lending 400 chairs for the Fight for a Night benefit show. But most importantly, what I really want to highlight is the support that he has shown me. Like during the benefit show, when I walked past him and he was talking with other adults about how the bus crash families are mad at the wrong people. Or at the commissioners meeting when he stated that half of the students on the bus weren't harmed and are just looking for a handout. So for that, Chris Lanier, I just want you to know that the debilitating pain I have woken up with for the past 116 days is less painful than the mental suffering and survivor's guilt that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. So maybe next time you want to support your community, don't use it as a way to snap a few pictures and promote yourself on social media, especially not on a night that was supposed to be about us. Since the day of the crash, I have been nothing but ignored by the school system. Not one of you on the school board, nor my own principal, has reached out to see how I'm doing. Not at the vigil, not at the Fight for a Night wrestling event, not at the last 2 school board meetings. I was not even acknowledged when I sent 2 emails last month requesting to speak at last month's school board meeting. It was to the point where I had to stand up with a poster and shout, demanding answers and accountability. And even then, I was escorted out and silenced. So tell me, when will you begin to listen? When will you start serving the people and not the system? When will you cover my medical debt that reaches over $200,000? And when will you understand that decorum doesn't exist when there are kids in the cemetery? I have been to over 50 appointments and counting since the accident. My summer was meant to be filled with traveling, hiking, amusement parks, happy memories, and relaxation, but instead it's been a constant back and forth between physical therapy appointments, neurology appointments, trauma counseling, and ENT appointments to make sure that I'm not going to go deaf in my left ear. Not to mention the traumatic brain injury I obtained from the bus accident that still affects my comprehension, vision, balance, memory, and ability to think. But sure, Chris Lanier, I'm just looking for a handout. It is a shame for me to have to stand here and remind you that it is your job to serve the people. It is your job to listen, it is your job to be transparent, and it is your job to protect the children like me. To everyone sitting in this room, for all the parents and taxpayers of Clarksville, I want you to remember that these board members are running our school. I want you to remember that these board members work for you. And I want you to remember that CMCSS failed me. CMCSS failed every student on that bus, and if we don't demand change, they will fail you too. Thank you.
Okay. Autumn Harper.
Given that I only have 180 seconds, I'm going to skip the introductions and get straight to the point. This district has once again chosen to create another assistant director position in special populations with a salary exceeding $140,000, while professionals working directly with our students with disabilities are making half of that and continue to carry impossible workloads. We still have related service providers with caseloads that no one can reasonably manage. Some occupational therapists are responsible for more than 160 students, and some SLPs have caseloads exceeding 190. At those numbers, individualized services become nearly impossible, and providers are forced to focus on compliance instead of meaningful intervention. When specialists are stretched this thin, responsibilities that belong to occupational therapists, SLPs, and behavior specialists are increasingly pushed into the general education teachers, special education case managers. Those educators are doing everything they can, but they are not occupational therapists, they are not SLPs, and they are not behavior specialists. We can't continue expecting staff to fill roles they were never trained to perform. The same concern exists with our school's counselors. West Creek High School has experienced 4 suicides in less than 2 years, yet the counselors are responsible for approximately 500 students, while also managing 504 plans and participating in IEP meetings. The American School Counselor Association recommends 1 counselor for every 250 students. If we keep investing in top administration while leaving frontline staff overwhelmed, we can't expect different outcomes. I'll also like to address what's being called inclusion, or lack thereof, at Kirkwood Elementary and at other schools throughout the district. Students in CDC classrooms are brought into the cafeteria for lunch, where they sit at a table together with only disabled peers, and that time is counted as general education inclusion. Sitting in the same room without meaningful interaction with non-disabled peers is not inclusion. It's simple physical proximity. There are no disabled-only grocery stores, restaurants, or workplaces after these students leave our schools. Our responsibility is to prepare them to be active members of our community by giving them meaningful opportunities to learn, build relationships, and participate alongside their peers. I also saw a recent video highlighting changing tables in elementary schools. Kirkwood, the district's newest elementary school until Freedom opens, doesn't even have a changing table in the CDC classroom, serving students who are not toilet trained. We should not celebrate accessibility while basic accessibility needs remain unmet. I want to challenge this board, encourage each of you to seek training outside of the district on special education law, the IEP process, and the reality that families face. The more informed this board is, the better equipped you'll be to provide meaningful oversight and ask difficult questions students deserve. Invest less in expanding administration and more in the professionals and supports that directly impact students every day. Our children deserve meaningful services of inclusion and leadership.
Okay, thank you.
This board has time to talk about softball uniforms, but not the systematic failures in special education.
Okay, moving on. Ashley Ellithorpe.
Good evening. I am here tonight for a simple reason. Our children. We must all agree our children deserve completely safe inside CMCSS school. Protecting them is a sacred duty and a higher moral calling. Parents expect their children to come home protected. That is a baseline stewardship of this board. Children are a blessing, and protecting them is profound responsibility we will answer for. Safety can never be an afterthought. It cannot depend on who is involved or how uncomfortable it is for the administration. Recent events have shaken this community. With an indictment and arrest of a former teacher, Matthew Vedder, on criminal accounts, the severe gravity of what happened is laid bare. The fact that the accused was married to the district top administrator has shattered the public's trust. A technical recusal is not enough. A green petition has parents makes it clear we are calling for immediate resignation of Dr. Jean Luna Vedder. Top leadership can no longer credible assure families that the safety is a priority. Trust is built through openness and willingness to take action when the system fails. To the board members whose terms are concluding, you face a profound question of stewardship. As you ask to continue serving, look into your hearts and answer, have your actions truly put the safety of these children above professional comfort? Do you deserve to retain the sacred trust? Moving forward, every vote taken by this board must begin with a question. Does this make our children safer? If the answer is no, your work is not done. Our children, our parents, and the community are watching. Let's make Montgomery County, the district known for its moral clarity, put the safety of our children above and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Adam Ellithorpe.
So recent events have left many people in our community asking difficult questions. The concern surrounding the whole public safety situation with the Matthew Vedder situation has made the school and have shaken public trust. The bus accident involving students has raised additional concerns about student safety and communication. Look where we currently are. We have school board members thrashing out against families, telling them they're bad parents, telling them that the superintendent of Montgomery County school system is the victim. I look in front of me and I don't see any victims. I wanted you guys to know that what has been most troubling to many families is the silence. When serious issues arise and we push them to the side, it is not okay. It creates uncertainty. It erodes the public confidence. Parents, teachers, and students deserve timely, factual communication whenever it's possible, while also recognizing that some information may be limited by ongoing investigations. We know that Mr. Vetter is still currently married to Miss Vetter. They share the same roof and they share the same computer technology that has all of our children's information and pertinent address and safety concerns. It is a safety concern for the community to allow Miss Vetter to retain her position as the director at CMCSS School Department. Transparency and those legal responsibilities can and should exist, but not together. This board has the opportunity right now to demonstrate leadership by reviewing their policies and removing Ms. Vetter tonight as we speak. Strengthening reporting procedures, evaluating safety protocols, and ensuring that safety is always the top concern. Every incident should become an opportunity to improve the systems designed to protect children. Right now, we are not protecting children. We are covering up situations to make ourselves look better and to make our system operate in a dysfunctional manner. I also want to recognize that the students and families recently affected by the recent bus accident, they deserve compassion, support, and confidence that every reasonable step is being taken to review what happened and to strengthen transportation safety moving forward. It is my belief, as I stand here today, that there is not a person in this room that believes that our current administration staff should be the same moving forward. We are asking as a community, we are asking from our petition, and we are asking from the recent legal injunctions that have been raised amongst a former teacher of Montgomery County School Board. We are asking you guys to stand up and do your job. We are asking you guys to remove the problem. There will be no school board meetings going forward without conflict until this issue is arised and taken care of.
Alrighty, next speaker, Samantha Baker.
Good evening. The responsibility of this board isn't to protect the reputation of this district. Your responsibility is to protect the students entrusted to your care. As a parent, I have lost confidence that this board is doing that. Parents deserve transparency. They deserve to know that concerns are documented, investigated thoroughly, and leave a clear paper trail. Children deserve adults who act immediately when concerns are raised. Parents deserve honesty instead of silence. The question isn't whether protecting children is difficult. The question is whether this board has been willing to do it consistently, openly, and without putting the district's image ahead of student safety. My children and I moved to Clarksville after escaping domestic violence. I promised them this would be our fresh start. I promised them they would finally feel safe, supported, and able to focus on simply being kids. Now, let me tell you why I no longer believe that's happening. My daughter was a new student in a criminal justice class when her teacher, a former officer, looked at her in front of her new classmates and said, "Lacey, I don't want to know what your involvement with handcuffs was. Were they pink and fuzzy?" When I reported it, the principal told me she just couldn't believe it because he was so well liked and popular with students and staff. Yet during a phone call with me, that same teacher admitted to making those comments. That should have been enough, but it wasn't. That same teacher later called my daughter and her classmates worthless, waste of oxygen, and wrist slitters during Suicide Prevention Week. I spent countless days wondering if I would get to see my daughter graduate. Thankfully, I did. And it wasn't because of y'all. She graduated with an honor cord for her ACT score, and will be attending mortuary school because she cares about people. Now I'm fighting a different battle. My son needs support and accommodations, and instead of feeling like we have partners in his education, I feel like I'm constantly having to fight. That lack of trust became very real at a community fundraiser event. Board member Chris Lanier approached my son. I told him twice not to speak to my child. That wasn't personal, that was parental. Because if I don't trust the board members, why would I want you to talk to my son?
All right, moving on. Debbie Fields.
Good evening, Chairman, board members, superintendent, educators, and distinguished guests. My name is Debbie Fields, and I have the privilege of serving as the operations executive of YAPAC, a local nonprofit organization committed to strengthening our community by serving veterans, military families, children, and families in need through practical assistance, education, and outreach. Thank you for allowing me a few moments to introduce our organization and share how the work we do directly supports the students and families within our school district. At YAPAC, we believe every child deserves the opportunity to succeed. We also know that success in the classroom often begins with stability in the home. When families struggle with food insecurity and financial hardship, transportation challenges, and unexpected crises, those burdens don't stay at home. They walk into the classroom with children every single day. That is why YAPAC exists. Through our 4 pillars of service, we provide food assistance through our Patriot Pantry Network, school supply distribution, Christmas assistance, disaster relief, support for veterans and military families, and educational classes covering topics such as CPR, Stop the Bleed, online safety, situation awareness, and signs of human trafficking. Every program we offer is designed to strengthen families because when the families are stronger, our children are stronger. We also want to be a resource for the students outside of the classroom. YAPAC provides meaningful volunteer opportunities where students can earn community service hours towards the Tennessee Promise Scholarship while developing leadership skills and compassion, teamwork, and a heart for serving others rather than simply completing required hours. Students become a part of something bigger than themselves by directly impacting families right here in our community. In addition, we have worked alongside CMCSS and the Choice to Change and Age program. This program is designed for students who have been assigned community service as part of a disciplinary action following an expulsion. Instead of simply completing hours, these students are paired with mentors who invest in them personally. They learn responsibility, accountability, workplace skills, communication, and the value of serving others. But most importantly, they experience encouragement rather than condemnation. We believe every young person deserves the opportunity to rewrite their story, and sometimes all it takes is one person willing to believe in them. At YAPAC, we don't see troubled students, we see future leaders, future parents, future business owners, and future members of our community who simply need someone willing to walk beside them. Our desire is not to replace the incredible work that is already being done in our schools. Rather, we hope to become another trusted community partner that helps remove barriers, provides additional resources, and creates opportunities for students to grow both inside and outside the classroom. It truly takes an entire community to raise healthy, resilient, and successful children. Schools cannot do it alone, and neither can nonprofits. But together, we can make a lasting difference in the lives of the families that we serve.
Thank you. All righty, moving on to approval of consent agenda. looked over the consent agenda. Jimmy motions, got a second? Ms. Bryant seconds. Any discussion? Okay. If you would, please call the vote. All members satisfied with your vote? Please close the vote. No more disruptions. Please call the vote. All right, motion passes 6-1. That's your last warning. Policy monitoring, EL6, asset protection.
Board, please find in your board packet information on Executive Limitation 6, Asset Protection. This executive limitation has 8 compliance expectations. Specifically, a complete property appraisal valuation and inventory of school system assets is completed each year. Additionally, employees handling material amounts of funds will be bonded. A preventative maintenance program is in place for all facilities, vehicles, and where appropriate, equipment. Proper maintenance of equipment is an integral part of employee training and industry-specific professional development. Adequate professional liability insurance, as indicated in your board packet, is in place to protect the district board and staff. Furthermore, all purchases will follow purchasing procedures outlined by state law and local administrative policies. Security measures are in place to ensure protection of district information and intellectual property. In conclusion, the most recent audit conducted by the State Comptroller's Office resulted in financial statements being in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified. District decisions are data-informed using a team approach that filters individual and collective actions in light of their impact on improving student achievement. Chairman Lanier, this concludes Executive Limitation 6.
Okay. Okay, a motion for Mr. Griffey. Second, Ms. Berry. All right, motion second, any discussion? All right, please call the vote. Are all members satisfied with your vote? Please close the vote. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to EL7, Emergency Director of Schools.
Board, please find in your board packet information on Executive Limitation 7. It states no fewer than 3 other executives must be familiar with issues and processes. 4 CMCSS executives have been designated to handle district business: Chief Human Resource Officer, Chief of Staff, Chief Communications Officer, and Chief Academic Officer. Chairman Lanier, this concludes Executive Limitation 7.
Okay, has anybody got any comments? Motion. Motion to approve for Mr. Garland. Second from Ms. Bryant. All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, please call the vote. Everybody satisfied with your vote?
Excuse me, sir, Chris, can you say if anybody has comments, that just be y'all up there?
Yes, this is for up here.
Okay, I didn't know.
Okay, please close the vote. Motion passes. Policy passes. Okay, moving on to Rossview utility easement.
Board, last month the Rossview utility easement came up and there were questions and clarification. Our Chief Operations Officer has spoken and confirmed that we are able to meet those expectations that were set last month. So it is back for a vote now. Chief Operations Officer Norm Brumbley is available should you have any questions.
I move we accept the Rossview utility easement, the contracts they sent us, had the modifications that we were requesting, and now it takes time to go ahead with it.
Yeah, push your button. You want to restate that?
I move that we accept the Rossview utility easement, move forward there. The contract that we were emailed had the modifications that were requested by the board, and will make it a safer environment for the children as they're coming and leaving school.
Okay, it's a motion. Mr. Griffey, is there a second? Second by Mr. Garland. Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any discussion? Okay, please call the vote. Is everybody satisfied with your vote? Please close the vote. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to comments from Fort Campbell School Liaison Officer. Not here, okay. CMCEA representative.
Good evening. A new school year represents fresh opportunities. It is a chance for students to discover new interests, build confidence, overcome challenges, and grow both academically and personally. It is also a time when educators return to the classrooms with renewed purpose, ready to inspire, encourage, and support every child who walks through our doors. Educators have invested their own time and resources to ensure classrooms are welcoming, lessons are engaging, and students feel safe and valued from day one. They have done this by spending their summer leading and participating in Engage sessions, and it was a great Engage again this year. I just want to give you a shout out. And other in-service opportunities, joining in externships, working on future lesson plans, and collaborating with others. The week of August 3rd will be no doubt a hectic one for all educators, but it can also be stressful. I ask that we are mindful of workloads that week, that first week back, and allow as much time as possible for educators to use as they see fit to prepare for the year ahead. I look forward to this school year because together we can make Clarksville-Montgomery County the very best place to live, teach, and learn. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, County Commissioners.
Make sure y'all get out and vote.
Okay. Anybody else? Board members? No, no. The public comment part is over this meeting. When you sign it before the meeting. Okay, moving on. Ms. Bryant?
Yes, I don't want to breeze past Ms. Fields with YAPAC Outreach because I've personally witnessed the impact that program has had. And Dr. Lunavetter, would you mind just giving a quick description on that program that we have with YAPAC because it's really great?
Sure. Choice to Change is a program that if we have students who have made a mistake and they have perhaps had a narcotic or something at school, normally that would be a zero tolerance. It's an expulsion for a full year. That is still the case. But Choice to Change offers the opportunity, if this is the first offense for a student, to be able to rectify that situation through a whole series of contract that they do in accordance with their parents. So they are able to take coursework. They are able to go to classes that help them actually, if they have any sort of drug addiction, they are drug tested according to the policies, and then they are able to do community service work at YAPAC. YAPAC has been an amazing partner that they not only allow our kids to come there, but they treat them like family. As she said, they treat them as someone who, yes, they made a mistake, but they're able to get over that mistake. Instead of just going home for a year and then just coming back, they are able to actually make changes that are meaningful in their lives that give them a second chance before they turn 18 and everything is on their record to hopefully make a meaningful change in their life. And YAPAC has been an amazing partner. They also allow parents to come in and serve that community service alongside of them, which just makes even more meaningful change in the family.
Thank you. I've seen that. And we've had, last time I looked, it was 80 students. It's probably more than that now. Do you know about how many students have been through that?
I'll get that number. I don't want to say it off the top.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, anybody else? Push your button. The left one, or the right one.
Hello. I would just like to say how
Remind the
excited-
audience that we need to keep the disruption down. Officers, please remove her.
I would just like to say that I'm excited about Freedom Elementary coming to District 3. And it's a significant milestone, and it reflects the growth and future of our community. And I'm really excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board members? I don't know where Debbie went, but she must be behind that pole or something, but I can't see her. But I want to reiterate what Casey said about YAPAC. She's in the back. Oh, there you are. Thank you for all that y'all do. It's an amazing organization. We volunteered through Kiwanis and got everybody attached that we can with YAPAC and gathered. Even we got involved the other day with A&G Diesel and all those, and they came to them and said, hey, we have a need where we're missing cans. And so, just local businesses came together and got y'all stocked back. So, an attachment with the Fit families and everything else y'all done for us. Really appreciate it. Thank you. At this time, my public comment, I wanted to bring up, I need to ask our attorney something. Is a meeting of multiple board members outside of a board meeting to ask questions from a speaker to gather information without deliberation, is that a violation of Sunshine Law?
No, it is not. Tennessee Sunshine Law says that public bodies such as the school board, the county commission, the city council will conduct their business in public, which means your debate, discussion, and decisions have to be made in the public. If you are meeting to obtain information but not take action, not discuss, not debate, then that is not a violation of the Open Meeting Act.
Okay, thank you. So I've got a statement. Members of the board, district leadership, and members of the public, I want to briefly discuss a recent matter regarding board outreach and compliance with the Tennessee Open Meetings Act. On May 26th, 2 local teachers and an APSU student teacher reached out to me to discuss an initiative aimed at strengthening our district's fine arts program. Specifically, the potential for a fine arts coordinator within CMCSS. On June 15th, I met with those constituents to listen to their perspective, learn about their passion for expanding student programs, and gather their information. To be entirely clear, no formal actions, decisions, deliberations, or votes were even taken during this meeting. As confirmed by the legal counsel and outlined under the Tennessee Code annotated 8-44-102, board members meeting together to gather information from constituents is fully compliant within the Sunshine Law. Listen to our teachers, students, and community members is a fundamental part of our duty as elected officials. Accusations suggesting otherwise create unnecessary division and undermine the open dialogue that our community deserves. Our priority must remain focused on supporting our educators and providing the most possible education for CMCSS students. I appreciate everyone's commitment to the transparency as we move forward together. Please, if you want to contact me, my number is 931-218-6444. You can get it from quite a few of these people in this room, or Christopher.Lanier@cmcss.net. I'd love to sit down and talk with you. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, I have just one question. Who was invited to that meeting?
An email was sent from a student teacher to set up the meeting and wanted to meet with Miss Berry and myself at his request.
You said the board, this was for the board?
No, he sent an email to both of us and asked for us to have a meeting to talk about fine arts coordinator. He was a former student of Miss Berry. It's how he knew her.
Okay.
And then I know his brother, so I don't know if that's, I don't even think he knew that I knew his brother, but. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, moving on to Director of Schools report, Dr. Linda Vetter.
Tomorrow marks 2 weeks from the first half day of the new school year. While we still have some positions to fill, I'm happy to report that we are more than 99% staffed for teaching positions, with hiring and onboarding still occurring. Most vacancies are in the area of special ed, where we continue to provide an additional $6,000 of differentiated pay, as well as potential sign-on bonuses. Similarly, our bus driver situation has greatly improved, with 15 open bus routes with 12 trainees in the program. Our team will continue to work diligently over the next few weeks to find qualified candidates for the remaining spots. In 2 weeks, we will celebrate students at our annual AP Pass and Go event in partnership with Wyatt Johnson and Clarksville-Montgomery County Education Foundation. I am pleased to share that our advanced placement pass rate has improved from 55% in 2022 to over 70% this past school year. Finally, tune in to Q108 this Thursday and Friday for Q Up in the Classroom. Last year, $36,000 was raised by the community for the teacher warehouse. Please consider donating so we can exceed last year's contributions to help with the extra supplies for our teachers and students. This concludes my report for the evening.
Okay, and with that, we're adjourned.